This is Matt from NoCodeTrainer.com. I hope you like this video and you can take what you learned from it and incorporate it into your own Bubble application. If you do, please make sure to click like and leave a comment in the comment section with how you'll use it inside of your application. If you'd like to be kept up to date with more tips and tricks you can use in your Bubble app, please subscribe to our channel and be sure to check out NoCodeTrainer.com for more exclusive content. So in this video, we're going to show you how you can make it so that a text element inside of your Bubble application can have opacity set onto its color. You can do things after that to be able to maybe hover over it and change that opacity. So inside of your Bubble application, to be able to get this set up, what you're going to want to first do is to make sure that you actually have colors available that have opacity settings onto them. You can see here we have a dynamic expression. So what we're doing is we take a text element, and when you remove the style from it and you look at doing a color, you actually have a choice of dynamic data. And this is helpful because if we choose any normal color, our text element, unlike some other elements, we are not able to access an opacity value onto it. And so we are not able to do it directly inside a Bubble as we could maybe on a group. So in this situation, we need to make use of this insert dynamic data. And what we're going to be doing is setting up an option set. So I create an option set. I label that option set as option colors. Once I have created that option set, the very first attribute that's going to be available is going to be the display. And I would name it some value that I would recognize. And in this situation, I'm recognizing the color and then the fact that it has opacity and then 50%. So I'm putting this together myself. There may be times that I am putting it together for a client or perhaps in a template. In those sort of situations, what I would expect is that the colors are probably going to change. And so I would be using values such as primary, and I might even say something like primary hover, or other things that it might be utilized for, because I do this inside of some of my applications for more than just opacity on a text value. So name these whatever they make sense to you for. So here I'm just going to write primary opacity and maybe say 25%. So in this situation, what I need now is the hex code as a attribute. So if you're not familiar with it, to create a new attribute, click on create a new attribute. Label it what you might, and here I'll just write this as hex code 1, and then choose the attribute type, which would be text. Create. Now, when you go into modify attributes with these, this is where you're able to actually add values into those different attributes that you've created. And so in this situation here, I'm going to modify the attributes for my primary opacity at 25%. So what I have here is my primary color is hex code. So I'm going to just go ahead and add that value into my hex code. Then I'm going to find online this hexadecimal color code. And they say it's for transparency. Remember, transparency, opacity, basically the same thing. And so what we have here are all the different percentages. So 100%, that's 100% opacity. And when we come down, if you want to get into a lower range, you can see 50 all the way down to 0, right? So each of them have next to it a sort of 2-digit or a 2-character type of thing, because it's numbers or letters or just letters. It's different for each. So right now I want to grab one that is for 25%. So I'm just going to come down to here, and that's a 40. So I'm just going to come back into my application, and I'm going to type in 40 after that primary hex code. And I'm going to save this. And now when I come back into my design tab, I'm going to be able to click into the color, and I'm going to say insert dynamic data, and I'm going to say get an option. Once I do that, I'm choosing the option set, option colors that I created. I'm choosing the option that I just set up there. And then in the more, when I click onto it, I'm going to have the different attribute values, and I'm going to say hex code because that's the one that actually has the value into it. And now here, I'm just going to type in whatever it is that the text is for. And then other changes that I might want to do are going to be based off of hovering on this. And so I'm going to come into my conditionals. I'm going to define another condition. If I can click onto this and have this open. And now I'm going to say this text, I'm going to say is hovered. And the property I'm going to change is going to be the font color, and I'm going to change that to just a regular color. I'm not going to use my actual colors from within the option set. And now I want to make it smooth, so I'm going to go to Transitions. I'm going to choose Transitions Font Color, and when I do that, I'll set out a duration for how fast or how slow it should go, and then some couple other options in terms of the ways that it will actually affect. So let's do something long and see how this goes. And let's come back into here. We've got this now. Let's get this to be a little bit larger so we can see it a little bit easier. All right, so let's go ahead and preview what's going on inside of this application. All right, so once we preview this, we're going to be able to see that this has a lower opacity. It's 25%. The one above has 50. So we can see again when we hover over those changes, you can see that sort of change that's taking place. So some different ways that you can actually get a more customizable design into your Bubble application, especially when it comes to this limited feature of no opacity setting on a text element's font color. So a little tip to be able to help you out, and hopefully you'll find a way to implement this into your own Bubble application. Thanks for watching the video. Hope that you found this helpful. If you'd like to be able to get editor access, please make sure that you check out the site, NoCodeTrainer.com. The link is in the description to the video, where you'll be able to gain access into the editor and be able to check out how things were set up within the application itself.